As cold and flu season is approaching, it's time to make my elderberry syrup, so we're all ready before sickness settles in around our house. Hey friends, it's Barbara Sue at Kowalski Mountain, and I'm here today with my daughter, Faith Hardy, and we are going to be making our elderberry syrup. Now, Faith is the one who found the elderberries right here at Kowalski Mountain, and so it's extra special that she gets to make the syrup with me today. Now, while we hope we don't get sick this season, we're going to be ready with our elderberry syrup. Now, since I'm new to using elderberries, I bought a book, Everything Elderberry, because I wanted to be sure to process our fresh elderberries properly. Elderberries are actually poisonous if not cooked correctly. Now, it's through the cooking process that the toxins are cooked out of the elderberries, which make them suitable for medicinal uses. Now, we are going to be making a couple of things today. We're going to be making a simple syrup, and with that simple syrup, we're going to be making elderberry gummies. Now, we're also going to be making an ultra elderberry syrup, which has a few more ingredients to increase the medicinal values of our elderberry syrup. So let's get started. We're going to start with our ginger, because in our ultra elderberry syrup, we're going to be adding ginger and cinnamon to it, as well as our very own Kowalski apiary honey. And so we're just going to start by peeling the ginger. Do you want your own plate?
No, that's fine.
Share. Now, I've already washed the ginger. Now, Faith became a really big fan of ginger when you were probably 10?
Yeah, I was little. It was elementary school.
Maybe 10 years old. We took a trip to the beach for spring break. It was Sanibel Island. And back then I was a single mom, so a vacation was really, really special that we got to take a trip anywhere. Well, we spent so much time in the sun, and Faith ended up sick, and she was laying down at the table while we were out to eat dinner in my lap. And the waiter kind of picked on her at the table about not sitting up, and I said, well, she doesn't feel good. And through our conversation, he thought for sure she had just sun poisoning. He says, I've got exactly what she needs. And he went back to the kitchen and he hand grated some ginger for her and got her some, I think,
It was just a little bowl full.
Yeah, but he also gave you like some carbonated water or something like that. And he said, this will make her feel better. He said, get her to eat just a little bit. And if you've ever had ginger straight up like this, it's not very tasty, but it really helps. And so as a result, Faith is a really big fan of fresh ginger. So we don't actually need a lot of this, so I don't want to get too crazy about peeling it all.
That's all I can do.
Let me get another plate. Now, I'm purposely using the colored plates because I wanted you to be able to see the ginger. So you want to grate? I guess I do need to peel a little bit more.
I was going to say, I'm getting to where I haven't peeled yet.
Yeah. We need about a tablespoon of fresh ginger. And we can use some of mine that I've already peeled. Into mine. We can use well, I'm glad I got as much ginger as I did. Do you think we're up to a tablespoon?
You're asking the wrong person for measurements. Maybe that's a tablespoon?
I think we're close. What you got? And here's our fresh ginger that's all ready. Now the elderberries Faith discovered right here in the blackberry patch, and we were super excited, and I actually saw them in another area on the farm. Now I've already made the juice. Earlier this year during the September workcation, which was around Labor Day, Jess and I picked all of the ripe elderberries. Now I threw those into the freezer, and if you've been following us, you know that that was just before our move to Kowalski Mountain. So things got super hectic, and I really didn't have any time to deal with my elderberry juice. I have a little bit of footage of Jess and I picking those elderberries, so let's check it out. Now, once I got home from the homestead, I went ahead and prepared the elderberry juice, and I used my steam juicer to do that. Let me tell you, I'm loving my steam juicer, just let me say. And I was shocked by how much elderberry juice I was able to get. Now, I had about a gallon-sized bag of fresh elderberries, and this is a 1.5 pint jar, so this is quite a bit of elderberry juice. And today, finally, we're going to make this elderberry syrup. Faith and I are going to start the ultra syrup, and we're starting with 2 cups of elderberry juice that I got from the steam juicer, and she's going to go ahead and add that. And then next we're going to go ahead and add that ground ginger. So now we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Now we're going to let that simmer and reduce by about half. Now through the cooking process is where the elderberries lose their toxins. Now in the steam canner, when I was extracting the juice, that was already heating up and went through that process. So at this point, this juice is safe because it's been cooked appropriately. But this is just going to add to that. Now while this reduces, we're going to go ahead and start those elderberry gummies by making the simple syrup. Now this recipe in the Everything Elderberry book does tell you how to do it if you have dried elderberries in comparison to fresh elderberries, which we're using today. Now we are just going to mix our elderberry juice with our fresh honey at 50/50. And we are lucky enough to have our own honey that we draw from our own apiary. So this is Kowalski apiary honey that was produced right here on Kowalski Mountain by our very own girls. So Faith, you want to go ahead and add the honey, stir that in. Now we did heat up that elderberry syrup just a little bit so it would make it easier to mix in the honey. Now the simple elderberry syrup is just that.
Yummy honey.
Finger licking good. But it's just a very simple syrup, and we're going to use this to make just a single batch of the little gummies. Now we're going to wait until the stove freezes up, so let's go check on the ultra elderberry syrup. Well, I think we're almost there with the reducing. This is simmering away. It's definitely looking much reduced. We'll let it go a little bit longer. So we've reduced this by about half. And we're going to go ahead and take that off the heat, and we're going to let it cool a little bit before we add the honey. All right, now for the elderberry gummies, you do this with a mixture of a juice, and you can use any kind of juice you'd like. We're going to do a cran grape because that's the kind of juice that Philip likes, and that's what we have on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and add an equal amount of cran grape into my simple elderberry syrup. And we're going to go ahead and warm this up. We want it to be warm enough to dissolve the gelatin, but we don't need it to boil. Now for the gummies, we're going to be using a gelatin powder, and this is an unflavored gelatin powder that we're going to use to make this. Now if you have fancy molds for any type of food mold, you can use that to make your gummies. I'm just going to use glass bowls because I don't have anything fancy to do that. So we'll just cut them when we're finished. Now I think that's hot enough, so I'm going to go ahead and get my gelatin ready. And we need just 3 tablespoons of this gelatin. And we're going to mix this in really well till all of that gelatin dissolves. And I can definitely smell the flavors coming out. I can smell the grape, the cranberry. Got a few stubborn sections in here. Faith, you want to stir? We need to add a little bit more heat to get that in. So do you want to pour it into the bowls or do you want me to?
You can. You'll be better at it.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a mess.
All right, so now we're just going to pour this into the little bowls. And I'm not any better than you, Faith. I just made a mess. Now these are going to go in the fridge and chill. Faith is a genius. She realized that my infusion ball fits in the top of my canning jar. Genius. We're going to use this to strain the elderberry juice. Here we go. All right, now the elderberry syrup has been strained, and now we're going to go ahead and add the honey. Now it came to a little over 3/4 of a cup of the elderberry syrup. So we're going to add the honey.
Alter? It's ultra.
ultra. We're going to stir this in. Now you can make the ultra elderberry syrup at this point and it's completely done. You do need to refrigerate it and it's good for a few months. Now we are going to add brandy to it to act as a preservative, and that will make it last longer. Now you add the brandy based at 1/4 of the amount of elderberry syrup. So I'm just over 1.25 cups. So we're going to just do just a little bit above 1/4 cup. That's probably good.
I think what's not mixed is on your spatula.
I know. So now we're going to add the brandy. Mix this in. Okay, and then let's switch. So here it is. We've got our elderberry syrup all ready. And when you start not feeling good, we can just take a spoonful or so every hour. It's one of those things you test your tolerance to see how well you tolerate it. But it should help boost your immune system. Now we have one more thing to check out. The elderberry gummies have set.
Probably cut them in half.
I don't think you need that much.
No, I was talking about when you get them out.
Probably don't need that much.
Mm-mm.
There we go. Whoops. Oops. Now, we're just going to cut these up into little bite-sized gummies. And it says these are good in the refrigerator for about 5 days. Want to try one?
Sure. Tickly.
I can definitely taste the elderberry.
I feel like I tasted cranberry. I don't really know what elderberry tastes like.
Well, I tasted the juice. Now the elderberry gummies also boost your immune system. You can chew one up every day, headed into flu season. I had a gallon bag of elderberries on the stems, and I forget how much it got to. So this is really special because it took a lot of elderberries to make this little tiny bit of juice. Well, friends, I hope you've enjoyed coming along while we picked the elderberries. and while we made the elderberry syrup. So I'm really looking forward to giving it a try, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, we appreciate you watching. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit that button. We'd love for you to be a part of the Kowalski Mountain family. We'll see you next time. And we're also going to be making
Sorry.
now we're also